Everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing well. It is early. The sun is still not up. We are live, and we're going to talk about a warning that Elon Musk has given over Warren Buffett and his next move and why he's been going to cash and how serious this is. Now, the reason why I don't have a very serious and monotone tone is because, honestly, quite frankly, I believe that all of us are going to absolutely crush it during this next real estate, it's already started, stock market that hasn't started, downturn. The reason why the stock market hasn't started its downturn is because we are in heavy inflation. Even though the government is lying to you, that is absolutely the truth. And I'm going to talk about that and why mortgage rates are rising right now. And it's the opposite of what you'd think when the Fed lowers rates. But that's in a second. This first story is at Yahoo Finance. It's entitled "Elon Musk says Warren Buffett is positioning for a Kamala Harris win with his $277 billion cash pile as pro-Trumper John Paulson warns of equity market exit." Okay. Now, remember, I never read these stories. I just read the headline. I go, oh yeah, we're going to share that on the channel. I do it live. I never pre-read anything. I know it sounds crazy, but I've got to make a point. There are a lot of people in this world that put off this false front, this false bravado. They like to fake things, and I really don't like fakers. I don't like bullies. I'm not a fan of either of those crowds, and I want to call them out. And there are a lot of people that look really smart and they really aren't that bright. Okay, so I'd rather just do it live in front of you and be real and transparent, even with my horrible reading skills. Check this out. While Vice President Kamala Harris surges ahead in polls against her Republican rival Donald Trump, she hasn't found much traction in the business and investing world. Hedge fund manager John Paulson, the founder of New York-based investment Paulson and Company, said on Tuesday in a media appearance that he would pull his money off the market in the eventuality of a Harris win, while Tesla CEO Elon Musk flagged something even more ominous. Now, let me stop there and tell you that I have been pulling my investments slowly. Warren Buffett has to pull them way slower than me because he's a market maker, right? He starts dumping shares, it gets out in the market, other people panic and they sell shares, right? I've got to go find the video. A couple years ago, I did a video entitled Warren Buffett's going to start selling his stock. It's something like that. And get ready. Are you ready? And people, you got to see the comments, just mocked me and screamed and laughed and oh my gosh. And most people don't realize how wealthy people sell stock. They have to sell it in a way that it doesn't cause panic. Right? Well, now it's over. We've seen how much he sold. And then when they were cheering, he's still got 2 core positions in Apple and B of A. He's shaving those down even more too. So check this out. It says, Warren Buffett, where do you see it? Okay. He says, if Harris is elected, this is John Paulson, I would pull my money from the market and go to cash, and I'd go into gold, because I think that uncertainty regarding the plans they outlined would create a lot of uncertainty in the markets and likely lower markets, he told Fox News. Now, remember, I've told you this before, that once the election is done and we know in November who has won, I believe either direction, you're going to see a drop in the market. And this is why. If Trump wins, the far left is going to pull the plugs on the purse strings, and they're going to let things crash, and they're going to be super stoked because they own the money printing scheme, right? So they can print more money and buy assets super cheap. I know that sounds crazy because you'd think that it's caused hyperinflation, but as long as they don't let the velocity of that money churn in the real market, it won't cause hyperinflation. All right. The other scenario is if Harris wins, very smart people are going to be dumping stocks as fast as they can because they're going to be scared to death of her insane policies, okay? Now, I know this can get me kicked off of certain platforms, but I've got to tell you the truth. When you talk about unrealized gains tax, that's absolutely ludicrous. But let's just say that wasn't even brought up. Let's just talk about the mere doubling up to what, 28% for short-term capital gains, to go up that much, or sorry, long-term gains is absolutely insane. And a lot of people I've seen comments in the comment section, people go, can you explain to me how this is going to hurt the poor people or the poor people? And I'm going to be honest with you, we don't care about. I know that sounds crazy. And I'm trying my hardest to wake poor people up in poverty and get them to a level that's higher so that they become wealthier, right? But the truth is, people are poor because of mindsets. I know it's going to piss off probably one or maybe two people in this entire room, but it's true, okay? There have been times where I couldn't make my bills, which means I was poor, all right? I had to change my mindset. I'm in control of my own ship. Not daddy governor, not daddy president. I'm not running to daddy and asking for money. I'm in charge of my own ship. And until you wake up to that fact, well, sorry, you're going to just live a sad life. No, it's the middle class they want to destroy. And it will destroy the middle class because of capital gains rising. So people will be scared to sell their home or buy a home because they're going to get taxed almost 30%. A third of it's going to go straight to tax. And most people that don't know a lot about finance, I know it sounds crazy. They don't look at the 70% they get to keep. All they focus on is the 30% they lose. And it's that loser mentality that keeps people losing, right? Gosh darn it. Hope people agree with me. Stand by, I need some coffee. I'm getting fired up because Elon Musk warning is next. Okay, officially, that was my first sip of coffee of the day. The ninja wakes up that fired up. I feel bad for the ninja's wife someday. All right, here we go. Some days. All right, here we go. So again, Paulson said, and he's a pro-Trumper, if Kamala wins, I'm dumping my stocks and I'm buying gold. All right, here we go. Let's go here. Now, Elon Musk chimes in. When Mario Nawfal, who hosts shows and Twitter Spaces, shared the Fox News clippings of Paulson's interview, Musk said, Warren Buffett is already preparing for this outcome. Says Musk, who has publicly pledged allegiance to Trump after the first assassination attempt against the former president in a Pennsylvania campaign, apparently referred to Berkshire Hathaway, the firm led by Buffett, divesting large portions in some of its key holdings. Berkshire sold 115 million Apple shares in the first quarter and followed up with the sales of another 390 million shares in the second quarter. And then the firm still owned 400 million Apple shares despite the disposals. At Berkshire's annual meeting in May, the investment guru, Buffett, said the decision to sell the firm's biggest holding of Apple was to raise cash to foot the federal tax bill and also in line with his intention to hold more cash during times of uncertainty. Look, Buffett's already preparing for this, and what's going to happen is and just so you know, I always love throwing a poll out there, live poll, hashtag Trump if you think that Trump is going to win and that you are voting for Trump. And I would be typing that in myself right now. Here, I'll jump on live and type Trump. Or if you think K-pop's going to win, just put boo. All right. And then, so Buffett's already moving to cash because to say times are uncertain is insanity because we've already seen a lot of meddling and cheating going on. Why would it stop now, right? If it goes through, you're going to see bloodbaths. But to be honest with you, I see it either direction. And that's not doom or gloom. That's just somebody that, and I'm not going to tell you I'm smart. I mean, I could barely pass high school. But I do have a level of logic that could get me through an intense emergency situation alongside of pretty interesting decisions I have to make with my own personal money. Oh, again, I will never invest your money. Don't believe all those criminals down below in the comment section. They're called scammers. They are pretending to be me, okay? Now, let's talk about something that's really important that needs to be talked about, and that's the Fed lowering rates as 50 basis points. That absolutely shocked me. Shocked me. Although, I did say a year ago, the Fed's going to start lowering rates around August and September, and my call was 3. That was type 1, if you remember this. For last year, I've been warning about this. Between August and September, they're going to start, and I'm calling for 3 25-point basis cuts right up into the election to sort of show, hey, everything's good, the economy's good, Bidenomics worked. Now, that didn't happen in August, and September came out, and boom, 50 points, which is shocking because it sends a ripple through the market, and a lot of market makers and investors wake up and go, what the heck's going on? Why would you need to drop it that low or that much all at once? And it's funny because Powell came out and said, hey, the economy's good. You're like, it's good? Then why would you lower it 50 basis points? Oh, it's so good we could lower it 50. Well, if it's great, then are you going to lower it 75? Because some analysts at B of A just came out and said, hey, we're expecting a 75 basis point cut next round. Oh, well, that's scary crap. that means everything's collapsing. Nope, it means it's great. That's what Powell says. So what happens? Now think about this. This is where you want to talk about the middle class getting screwed. This is how it works. I'm going to share a little secret with you, and especially live, because none of those other morons that talk about money, they have no clue, except they're making so much money off of YouTube. They're fat, dumb, and happy. Here we go. All the bond investors, the day they dropped rates, they took money out of the bond market and they shoved it into the equity market. So just like I said right before this happened, I said, if they drop rates, you're going to see a pop in equities. And that's what happened. So they pull money out of bonds. So now there's less people buying bonds or holding bonds. So what happens to the bond rates? The 10-year shot up, right? What happens to the 10-year also happens to the mortgage rates. It shoots up. Interesting, right? So now, and again, remember, we are in an inflationary time that is going to move, I'm telling you, into a mini hyperinflation, right? During bouts of hyperinflation, you see equity markets rise. However, they never, ever, ever, ever line up with the rise in food and energy prices. Why? Because everybody needs those two things. Not everybody needs a stock. I know it sounds crazy, right? And so what we're going to have after a handful of months, we're going to get some data that shows that inflation has worsened. But the Fed knows, and the ninja knows, and hopefully all of you know, that by then it doesn't matter because the election has happened, right? And it's going to happen either way. Whoever gets in. So what happens is now that overshoot of the inflation is going to have the Fed in a position where they have to tighten very severely. And I've said this before, I'm going to keep saying it so that people can get through this thing. And if you could do me a favor, I'm not joking. Like everyone keeps upset that they're not getting notifications of these videos. Some people can't even do the thumbs up. Some people are being unsubscribed. There's a link to my newsletter, and every day the videos come out just in one email. It says, hey, if you want to see the email, cool. If not, just delete the thing. But it has all the links to the videos and a synopsis of what's going on in the world. It's free. What happens is they're going to have to tighten, and they're going to shoot interest rates up. And in the 70s, the same thing happened. They dropped rates for a little bit. Just go back and look at the Fed funds rate, and the measured move of an interest rate, the entire cycle, when they drop, you see literally it jumps up, it drops down a little bit, and the next measure move is 50% of the first initial move. Now, this last move in the Fed interest rates is the highest and fastest it's ever gone in the history of the Fed, okay? In the last 100 years, 100 plus years, this is the highest and fastest. So I would expect, I know this sounds crazy, but I expect a Fed funds rate between 7 and 9% when this is all done. I know that sounds nutty, but that's also going to shoot mortgages darn near definitely into double digits, if not near 20%. I know it sounds crazy, and I love getting the hate. It's really cool because one of these days we're going to get our editor to go and through all the old videos where I said, hey, this is going to happen here, this is going to happen there. That's when a lot of people jumped on when I said lumber's going to crash, and I called which month. And it's not because I've got a crystal ball, it's because just a little bit of logic, and that should give every single one of you a ton of hope and get you excited and pumped, right? It doesn't matter what kind of car you drive, doesn't matter how big your mansion is, your McMansion, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can all have this same knowledge and move appropriately and be prepared and not scared. Gosh darn, I hope you got something out of this. Now, you all saw live, the ninjas had only 2 sips of coffee this entire day. Now it's getting bright. I'm going outside to go film for the Real Estate Ninja because there's some really epic stuff happening in the housing market that the media doesn't want to tell you about. So if you'd like to go follow me over there, it's called the Real Estate Ninja. It's a weird looking dude with a weird haircut that looks like this on that channel. Go check him out. Hope you have a great day. The Economic Ninja. Is that loud enough? This thing's not working. Is out.